Throughout history, civilizations have viewed gold through three primary lenses: as a divine material, a marker of elite status, and a universal medium of exchange. While most cultures shared an obsession with its luster and tarnish-resistant nature, for many ancient societies, gold's physical properties, it does not rust or decay, made it the only material worthy of representing the eternal nature of the gods. In ancient Egypt, gold was considered the flesh of the gods, specifically the sun god Ra. It was used in funerary masks and coffins to transform the deceased into divine immortal beings. Some Egyptian mummies were buried with tongues of gold, believed to give them the ability to speak to the gods in the underworld. The Americas Incas viewed gold as the sweat of the sun, believing it possessed divine energy that could be recharged by the sun's rays. Aztecs similarly saw it as a divine byproduct of solar movement. In Hindu and Buddhist traditions, gold represents spiritual illumination and purity. It is integral to rituals and weddings as a symbol of prosperity and good fortune. First gold coins moved from a symbol of status to a reliable medium of exchange around 600 BCE when the Lydians, modern-day Turkey, minted the first official gold coins. Empires like Rome, with the Aureus, and Byzantium, with the Salutis, used gold to facilitate trade across vast territories, providing a predictable measure of wealth that survived for centuries. Let's understand the gold worth and economic impact on human by famous story. Mansa Musa's 1324 pilgrimage to Mecca is widely regarded as one of the most extravagant displays of wealth in human history. While it began as a religious act of devotion, its economic impact was so profound that it remains the only time in recorded history that a single individual directly influenced the global price of gold. In 1324, the ruler of the Mali Empire set out on a 4,000-mile trek across the Sahara Desert with an entourage of roughly 60,000 people. His caravan included 80 to 100 camels, each carrying approximately 300 pounds of gold dust, totaling roughly 15 to 18 tons of gold. The procession included 12,000 attendants who each carried gold bars weighing nearly 4 pounds, 1.8 kilograms. Reports from the era claim he built a new mosque every Friday along his route. Mansa Musa's 3-month stay in Cairo caused a massive market disruption. Musa distributed gold so freely, gifting it to the poor, scholars, and officials that he flooded the market. This sudden surplus crashed the value of gold by as much as 20 to 25%. The price of goods plummeted relative to the devalued gold, leading to a decade-long economic depression in the region. Some accounts suggest it took 12 years for Cairo's economy to fully normalize. The influx was so catastrophic that on his return journey, Musa reportedly attempted to stabilize the market by borrowing back gold from Syrian lenders at high interest rates. The pilgrimage put Mali on the map literally. The 1375 Catalan Atlas depicts Mansa Musa holding a massive gold nugget, identifying his empire as a source of unimaginable wealth. While in Cairo and Mecca, Musa recruited scholars and architects, such as the Andalusian poet Abu Ishaq al-Sahili, to return with him to Mali. This exchange transformed Timbuktu into a world-class center of Islamic learning and culture, eventually housing one of the largest libraries in Africa. The blood path of gold. In the time period of 1495 to 1500, Christopher Columbus and his contemporaries document that he oversaw a system that tortured, enslaved, and killed indigenous people to extract gold. In 1945, after facing resistance from the Taino people, Columbus institutes the gold quota system. Every person over age 14 was forced to fill a Hawk's bell with gold dust every 3 months. Columbus established a system on the island of Hispaniola requiring every indigenous person over 14 to provide a certain amount of gold every 3 months. Individuals who failed to meet their gold quotas frequently had their hands cut off and were left to bleed to death. It is estimated that as many as 10,000 people died this way. Thousands were forced into labor in gold mines, where many died from exhaustion, starvation, and disease. Those who resisted the tribute system or attempted to flee were often hunted down with dogs or executed. The conditions were so brutal that an estimated 50,000 indigenous people committed mass suicide via poisoning or other means rather than live under the Spanish regime. In 1500, a royal investigator, Francisco de Bobadilla, arrives to investigate reports of Columbus's brutality toward both natives and Spanish colonists. Columbus is arrested and sent back to Spain in chains. 1522 Columbus is allowed a final fourth voyage, but is forbidden from landing on Hispaniola, the island where the gold system had been most brutal. In the Middle Ages, goldsmiths began issuing paper receipts for stored gold. These receipts were easier to carry than heavy metal and eventually became the first form of paper currency, with goldsmiths acting as the first private bankers. American supremacy on gold. After World War II, the Bretton Woods Agreement established a system where the U.S. dollar was the only currency directly convertible to gold at $35 per ounce, while other major currencies pegged their value to the dollar. After that, in 1971, due to dwindling reserves and trade deficits, U.S. President Richard Nixon ended the dollar's convertibility to gold. This shifted the global economy to fiat currency, which is backed by government decree rather than a physical commodity. World War II transformed the United States into a global gold superpower by centralizing the vast majority of the world's monetary gold within its borders. By the end of the conflict, the U.S. held approximately 70% to 75% of the world's total monetary gold reserves. To bypass neutrality acts, the U.S. required allied nations, primarily Britain and France, to pay for weapons, food, and industrial goods in cash, which at the time meant gold. As European nations exhausted their domestic resources to fight Germany, they transferred massive amounts of gold to the U.S. Treasury to settle their debts. In 2026, gold is considered the backbone of global economic stability. It is a core component of AI infrastructure, smartphones, and high-purity semiconductors due to its superior conductivity and resistance to corrosion. Nearly every satellite launch uses approximately 50 grams of gold to protect sensitive instruments from radiation. Gold is increasingly vital for solar panels and hydrogen fuel cells, making it a key resource for the green transition. In healthcare, gold's biocompatibility allows for advanced treatments. Gold nanoparticles are being used in pinpoint-accurate cancer treatments and rapid diagnostic tests for diseases like HIV and malaria. Because it does not react with the human body, it is used for pacemakers, stents, and specialized dental work. Here are some 6 countries who have largest gold reserve. United States, 133.5 tons. Holds the world's largest reserve. Gold makes up over 72% of its total foreign exchange reserves. Germany, 3,351.6 tons. Europe's top holder, gold represents roughly 70% of its reserves. Italy, 2,451.9 tons, maintains highly stable reserves that have remained untouched for decades. France, 2,437.0 tons. The Banque de France considers gold a core strategic component of its balance sheet. Russia, 2,333.1 tons, has aggressively expanded its holdings to reduce reliance on the U.S. dollar. China, 2,306.0 tons, continuously increasing reserves. China is also the world's top gold producer. In today's modern world, gold is financial survival, divine symbolism, and technological necessity all melted into one metal.